So with Microsoft having such a commitment to backwards compatibility across generations, I take a look at what I believe are 20 must-play Xbox One games moving forward. Now these aren't necessarily exclusive to Xbox One, these are games that deserve to be played even when the current generation has long since passed. These games will only be improved upon with the new more powerful hardware of next-gen systems, but even in their current form, they are incredible games in their own unique ways and which deserve to be put in the spotlight once again. If you haven't played any, then I highly suggest you do. If you already have, then they also deserve to be experienced once again. If you like the video, then give it a like, share, or comment. But now let's get on with this list of gaming goodness. Kicking off at number 20, we have Metro Exodus, a stunning title, especially when running on the Xbox One X. This took the already excellent Metro series into more of an open world direction, with Artyom being the playable character once again, with varied environments and graphics which are at the very top of what current hardware can do. It also delivered the goods in terms of atmosphere. Although different to Metro 2033 and Last Light, the claustrophobic tunnels making way for much more freedom and variety, it doesn't necessarily better its previous games in the series, as it does offer something different, but of also such high quality. Hopefully the Metro series continues in some form, as it has been one which has flown under the radar mostly until Metro Exodus released, but they have always delivered an excellent story and atmosphere as we follow these characters and the problems they must overcome. Coming in at number 19, we have Remedy's Quantum Break, a great action game with some fantastic time manipulation mechanics and a genuinely interesting story, which was perhaps mostly let down by the TV show which was included with it. Not really a bad thing, as just perhaps unnecessary, as it just broke up the action for large chunks of time. Even though it's a little slow to really get going, once you're sprinting and dodging all over the place, firing off guns and switching between your powers, then the action can be quite addicting. Being able to replay levels instead of running through the whole game again is also a nice addition. It's a great looking game with some excellent effects on display which still hold up today. It may not be amazing, but it's a damn good time. At number 18, we have Rise of the Tomb Raider, and as someone whose very first Lara Croft game was Tomb Raider 2 on the PC back in 1997, I could never imagine the series could ever look this damn good. Rise of the Tomb Raider is a stunningly gorgeous game, which was only made better with the release of the Xbox One X. With the addition option of a 4K resolution or performance mode, plus the inclusion of HDR, the world of Lara Croft had never looked so damn realistic on console, with the same level of detail given to Lara herself and other characters, with great facial detail, realistic hair movement, and being almost able to see every snowflake, drop of sweat, dirt or blood on the characters. This is still a feast for the eyes. With tighter character control and how responsive it was to control Lara herself, this improved upon the first game and catapulted the character into the modern day. With an excellent and intriguing story and being able to craft items, if you have an interest in action-adventure games with great gameplay and over-the-top set pieces, you owe it to yourself to experience Rise of the Tomb Raider. At number 17, what do you get when you take Insomniac Games and add in a game that sold pretty poorly? The answer is Sunset Overdrive, a criminally underrated title which showed once again the talent that the studio has and how many gamers are reluctant to support new IP or don't know what the hell they want. Sunset Overdrive had a style and sense of humour that few games have, with a colourful and vibrant open world overrun with mutants who have transformed by drinking too much of Fizco's energy drink. Players are then let loose in this world with the aid of an excellent movement system, which brings back memories of Jet Set Radio. With the ability to grind on rails and power lines, bounce off of objects to gain height, plus being able to wall run, you'll always be on the move in Sunset Overdrive. Stand still and it won't be long until the mutants come gunning for you. Throw in a whole host of over-the-top original weapons, and I had some of the most fun I had in a video game all generation. It may have sold poorly at the time, but I implore you to give this game a go, especially since at the time of the video, it's included in Game Pass. Great game, great value. At number 16, we have another game in series which is often overlooked, and that's Dishonored. With a sequel that took everything up a notch, here's a game which gives players multiple ways in how they play and traverse the environment, especially when it comes to the verticality of the maps and being able to enter buildings and move about their multiple floors. You may want to take a more in-your-face approach and kill everything in sight, or perhaps you wish to play more stealthily, hiding in the shadows and completing missions with no enemy even knowing you were there. Players are also able to upgrade skill trees and abilities to aid them through their playthrough, including being able to use more supernatural powers. With an expertly designed world with some levels which are just incredible in their design and execution, plus the visual presentation and interesting story, Dishonored 2 deserves to be replayed and played for a first time for anybody who enjoys these type of games. Coming in at number 15, we have the 5th entrant in the Gears of War series, and the second game which departed away from the original trilogy. After revisiting it, I don't think it quite lives up to the originals, but what it does do is pack an absolute boatload of action with some of the absolute best third-person shooter controls out there. With the addition of its open world elements which really don't offer much, this is still one of the most beautiful games out there, from its gorgeous textures and lighting, to the excellent character models and facial movement, to some great looking enemy designs. Gears 5 is a technical marvel for a console, with a story which keeps moving forward so as to never stay away from the action for too long. It will be interesting to see when Gears 6 will get a release and what will become of the series after that. Gears 5 also comes packed with multiplayer, where new players will no doubt get destroyed before they even see an enemy. Gears 5 is just one damn fun game. If you've played a Gears game before, then you know what to expect. Only this time, it's a showcase for how damn good a game can look and sound. At number 14, following on from the incredible Forza Horizon 3, we have Forza Horizon 4. Not a giant leap over its predecessor, it's honestly, Forza Horizon 3 was already incredible. The 4th game in the series sees players travel to a somewhat fictionalized version of Great Britain, but where we all notice that Playground Games are incredibly talented when it comes to open world races, and just how damn good they make these games. If this game was a traditional sim-track racer, then it would still look gorgeous, but the fact that it's in a changing, shared open world, which includes changes in seasons, then it goes from gorgeous to downright jaw-dropping. Everything from the environment to, of course, the cars themselves has been created with a huge amount of care and detail. Forza Horizon 4 is a showcase for the Xbox One, and in years to come, it will still be worth experiencing what Playground Games has created. For those who live and breathe racing games, whether arcade or sim, then this game is a must play. For those who tend to steer clear of racing games at all, then this could be the game that changes all that. Forza Horizon 4 is an arcade racer that other arcade racers strive to be like. At number 13, we have the game that surely the whole world has played by now, and that's Grand Theft Auto 5. Originally released on the Xbox 360 and PS3, it's this version that should be played if you don't have access to a decent PC. Rockstar once again proves that when it comes to open worlds, they are the masters. The amount of detail and freedom packed into this game is nothing short of mind-blowing, as everyone would already know. And with its multiple protagonists spanning a lengthy campaign plus all the side quests, the series was taken to another level. This is the version you want to play though, as the graphics have been improved upon, as has the performance. Considering the game is 7 years old right now and still sells so well, it shows just what a special game it is. This large, detailed open world sandbox will be remembered for many years to come, only perhaps being overtaken by the inevitable Grand Theft Auto 6. Up at number 12, we have the sequel to what was already an excellent platformer, and it's Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Somehow Moon Studios managed to take their first game and just improve upon it in every way, except performance when it was first released. From its absolutely gorgeous art style and visual presentation to its simple but touching story, Ori and the Will of the Wisps is nothing short of playing through a beautiful painting, with the combat expanded upon from the first game with a lot more variety, plus the different areas, puzzles, chase sequences, enemies and bosses to keep things fresh. Ori is a game that very well could make you rethink what a game could be, but don't underestimate the challenge, especially at higher difficulties. The first game is also worth checking out, but the sequel is really where the series truly shines. Coming in at number 11, we have what is in my opinion a gem of a game which was a little overlooked, and it's Prey. Coming from Arcane Studios, players are let loose onto a space station with an alien threat on board. Players go about using a number of different weapons, but also different abilities, allowing players to play the game in different ways. Do you want to go in guns blazing, or take a more stealth-like approach through environments which can often be moved through in multiple ways? with the ability to craft and recycle items, plus a story which fantastically told either through the dialogue between characters or through the multitude of emails which flesh out the story and also play into the environment itself. Prey isn't just another first-person shooter. From beginning to the end, Prey delivers an action-packed ride, but which also draws in horror elements as well. Graphically impressive and with top-notch sound, Prey is a shooter for those who want something different from their shooters. Next up at number 10, we have the gigantic Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and which you could very well be playing for a couple of years at least. Odyssey continues the more open world RPG type Assassin's Creed that Origins began, but this time around, the setting is more detailed and interesting, the main characters actually have a personality, and the combat is more refined and feels better than ever before as you slice down enemies and acquire equipment as you level up your character. With a lengthy campaign and a bunch of side quests, this will take you a while, as like I alluded to already, this game world is absolutely massive, and not much of it is really a chore at all, as this is one of the most graphically impressive games you can lay your eyes on today. Character models and items are highly detailed, but it's the landscapes and vistas that will have you wiping your tears away in just how damn good it looks. Top it off with some solid performance and you have the classic Assassin's Creed meshed with a modern RPG. Even if you've grown tired of the series, this is definitely still worth checking out. At number 9, you better be paying attention and have the patience of a monk, because Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is here to make you rage quit. All From Software games are known for their difficulty, but between Dark Souls, Bloodborne and now Sekiro, From Software once again creates an excellent, rewarding combat system for the most part, and with story and lore which at least matches their other excellent games. For those who love Dark Souls and Bloodborne, Sekiro is here to make you rethink how you play these games entirely, but you'll be remembering some of these excellent bosses and will no doubt need to overcome some major obstacles to complete the game, or even the ogre near the beginning, which kind of acts like a skill test so early on. If you want to feel a sense of accomplishment, or maybe find out why you really do in fact hate such hard punishing games, then check out what won a number of Game of the Year awards in 2019. Or better yet, wait for the new consoles to iron out some of the frame rate drops first. Next on the list needs no introduction, and that's Doom Eternal at number 8. A follow-up to the 2016 reboot, Doom Eternal dials it up to 11, and where you'll only take a breath during one of the loved or hated platforming sections. Doom Eternal is all about staying mobile and moving around as the expertly designed enemies try and take you down at every opportunity. Apart from its excellent first-person shooter controls where you always feel in control when using the great lineup of weapons, Doom Eternal is an assault on your senses when it comes to what these games can look like these days, with gorgeous open levels and detail that is crammed into every corner of the world, and it all runs at a blistering 60 frames a second, making the action feel rock solid. It may not be a huge departure from what you're expecting, and the story can often be forgotten about and overshadowed by the action, but damn, Doom Eternal is one hell of a ride. Coming in at number 7, we have a game that surely everyone has played at least one of its countless ports of this game, but if you're a console gamer playing on Series X or Series S, it's the Xbox One version that you want to play, not the original Xbox 360 version. Visual clarity and performance has been improved upon for this release, but the other major reason to get into this is because of the inclusion of mods. Nothing new for PC players, but it breathes new life into Skyrim for console gamers, and you may lose hundreds of hours all over again as the Dragonborn. The world that Bethesda created, along with the story and lore, are also the huge draw cards, as not many other games give players so much freedom and with the amount of things to discover that Skyrim does. There's a reason there are so many versions of this almost decade-old game, but this is the one you want to play. Next at number 6, we have what is perhaps the most loved, but also the most underrated first-person shooter, and it's Titanfall 2. The original game would be Xbox exclusive and multiplayer only, but it's the sequel that deserves the accolades due to its excellent single-player campaign. This is more than just a straight-up standard first-person shooter. This one tells an excellent story, partly due to the introduction of the fantastic companion of BT. Apart from that, we have the same fast-paced, wall-running action and tight first-person shooter controls in both single and multiplayer, and some really memorable levels as well throughout the single-player story. Titanfall 2 was overshadowed at the time by the latest Call of Duty and Battlefield releases, being sandwiched in between the two, but when it comes to the campaign at least, it will be Titanfall 2 that is so fondly remembered. If you haven't played it yet, then it's definitely worth checking out. Now we have Dark Souls Remastered at number 5, a remaster of another 10-year-old game. And some watching this will be agreeing, and others will be cursing me as to why I didn't include Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 3 instead. Well, maybe not Dark Souls 2, but it's Dark Souls, and the increased performance of the remaster makes this version the one to play, especially for anyone who endured the shockingly poor performance of Blighttown in the original Xbox 360 release. If you want to know how to design a world, then look at Dark Souls with its interconnected areas. With its slower combat, it's a good jumping off point for those looking to get into the series and all that it offers. Combat would be different and sped up in later games, but the original, complete with its jankiness, is still a fantastic game to experience. It won't blow you away in terms of visuals, but its originality, lore, bosses, world and difficulty will show you why so many other games are compared to it. Next is Rockstar's other huge open world game at number 4, a game I tried to like several times, but one day it just clicked for me. Arthur Morgan still controls like he's forever walking through mud, but with its excellent story and characters who are voiced extremely well, plus the huge gorgeous open world on offer, Red Dead Redemption 2 delivered a sequel which lived up to its predecessor, even though it may not surpass it for many gamers. There is so much detail and polish attached to this game that it's staggering. Players could just walk around this world and continually be impressed with what's on display. Whether following the main story, side quests or hunting animals, Red Dead 2 does so much so well that I can overlook some of its issues. What Rockstar delivered is nothing short of incredible and will be remembered for many years to come, and it's what we've come to expect from Rockstar as well. Okay, for the next one at number 3, I need to go for the series and not just one game, and that's Bioshock. From the first game that introduced us to Rapture, to the underrated second game, through to the third in the series, which is completely different. Bioshock is a series of excellent storytelling, amazing worlds, solid combat, and in terms of Bioshock Infinite, having a companion in the form of Elizabeth, who is excellent throughout. This footage you're seeing is from the PS4 Pro version of Bioshock Infinite, as players are unable to record videos and screenshots from the Xbox version. But regardless, the reason to play the remasters and not the original Xbox 360 version at all is for the better graphics and increased performance. The original releases would struggle on those consoles, but now everything is silky smooth and looks much cleaner. When it comes to storytelling and a game being memorable, then look no further than the Bioshock series. Easily some of my favourite games of all time, and 3 examples to why I even play games. Incredible. At number 2, nothing needs to be said. It's The Witcher 3, simply one of my favourite games of all time once again. A huge, beautiful open world, which is still gorgeous to look at today, as long as you're not playing on the Switch. With its cities and large settlements, the world of The Witcher 3 felt alive, with a population within the world, which felt a lot more realistic than many other RPGs. Whether it was the main quest or the excellent side missions, which were often better than other games' entire single-player campaigns, this was the game which would really launch the astounding reputation of CD Projekt Red. More than 5 years after it was released, it still gets spoken of regularly, with other games being compared to it. Hell, even Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Red Dead 2 are often compared to it when discussing the quality of missions and which has the best open world. When taken on its own, The Witcher 3 was and still is an incredible experience, and one which deserved the accolades it received. For many people, it has set the benchmark for open world RPGs that others need to live up to, including CD Projekt Red's own Cyberpunk 2077. The Witcher 3 is one of the very few games I wish I could delete from my memory in order to experience it again. If you haven't played it yet, then it's definitely something worth savouring. At number 1, we have not one game, but a series that has been synonymous with Microsoft and Xbox since 2001. It's Halo, but most specifically, it's Halo the Master Chief Collection. A collection that consists of Halo 1, 2, 3 and 4, ODST and Reach. That's a lot of Halo for anybody who hasn't experienced the franchise before then. And if you haven't, then this is what you should play and see why Halo has been so loved over the years, but also how the game has differed from each other between the two different developers of Bungie and 343. Halo Combat Evolved was the first-person shooter that showed the genre could be done well on a console, giving players a similar experience to what they could get on a PC in terms of control. Before it, console shooters lacked proper aiming and often suffered from performance issues due to much weaker hardware. Throughout the whole series, Halo has delivered a universe to be invested in, often pushing the hardware of the day, delivering meaningful first-person shooter campaigns, but also delivering multiplayer experiences that would take years before they had any real competition. For those new to Xbox and have never played the series, or those who haven't played them in so long, this collection is an excellent way to revisit the games or play them for the first time. Ever since 2001, Halo is Xbox, and Xbox is Halo. So that's the list. Of course, there are many other games I had to leave off, but which game would you be playing via back compat again on next gen hardware because it's so damn good? Or which game did I include which has no right to ever be near a top 20 list? Let me know down below, and thanks for watching.